past, I can jump into the bag. Ain't coming, I saw the whole thing coming. Ain't facing your past, I can jump into the bag.
Yo, welcome back. We are something else. Episode 212, holiday, and it's a For the Culture Thursday, man. Welcome back. This is the We Are Something Else podcast. I'm your boy CB, coming in, sliding in live like Chris Collinsworth. Our boy E Rich, and if it's a For the Culture Thursday, we are joined as always by the homie Jen Glenn. Jen, how are you doing?
I'm good. How are y'all doing?
Doing good. My brother E, tell me how things are out there on the West Coast right now.
It's cold. For no fucking reason whatsoever. It's cold. Listen, work has been working, so I look forward to these Thursdays to unwind for a hot second or two. You know what I mean? And Jen got an interesting topics, so I'm ready to get talk about that for sure.
Hey, Rich, before we get into that, I wanted to say that it is cold in Houston. Listen, it was the first cold day. It was 46 degrees when I took my daughter to school this morning. That's crazy. And we don't really do that. So I needed to stay right here. Like, don't get any warmer. Don't get any cooler than this.
Please. Yeah. I mean, being over here in the DC area, we do have all the seasons, but I'll be honest. So I had PTO yesterday, not just from the podcast, but from my 9 to 5 as well. So I was out on the golf course as should be expected, and let me tell you, it was beautiful. It was like lower to mid 60s. Once you got warmed up, you could just be in the polo out there. Like, things were great. And then today, like y'all are saying, it was like mid 40s, and I was like, nah, dog, this is not it. Like, the Philippines has like a tropical climate, you know what I mean? Like, this is not, I don't know. I've never been that much of a winter person, but being out here, you kind of got to deal with it. So, I mean, Jen, what do y'all do when it gets cold like that, when that's not something that y'all are used to rolling with?
And see, that's the thing. In the summertime, everybody can't wait for the winter. But when wintertime gets here, we don't know how to behave, because you have to, like, you turn your heater on and it's not used to being on, and then you're scared because it has a funny smell and sound. Mm-hmm. You have to go in the back and try to look for all of these coats that you haven't worn since last year. Yep. And honestly, y'all, to pull out the big coat, you might only need it, if you put all the days together, probably 3 weeks out of the year. Because even though I'm complaining about it being cold, it's not going to stay that way. Next week, it might be back in the 80s.
I mean, E, is that the same out there where you're at?
Nah, listen, our what we consider cold is anything that's below 65, because we just got a different blood. You know what I'm saying? Like, once it gets below 65, we putting hoodies on, you dig? Yeah. And jackets. But during the day, it's fine, right? Because you got the sun, we don't get no clouds like that. But then as soon as that sun goes bye-bye, it definitely gets cold outside. You can get caught outside with no hoodie or no jacket on if you want to in LA. You're gonna be cold for sure. So
I love LA because you can wear a tank top and Uggs or a sweatshirt and sandals. Like, because the weather is temperate, even though it's still cold.
That's a is it just E segment waiting to happen.
I mean, one of the things, so obviously we got Jen filling in. We don't have Kaleo still. Still haven't seen the kid. So if anybody has seen or heard from him, please let us know. But in the spirit of that, shout out to Trish. She hosted what was it, the abstract last week or whatever. And happy early birthday to her, our girl from the laundromat. Like, y'all don't even know. So yeah. I mean, how's the week been though? Outside of it just being, colder than we'd like. How's the week? All that.
As my man said on a grumpier old man, it's colder than a witch's titty. Right. I mean, listen, the week has been the week outside of work. You know what I'm saying? I think, just music wise, I still been kind of listening to, Tyler. That project is crazy. And I like kind of getting me through, the stuff, we got the holidays coming up, trying to get out of work mode so you can, actually mentally spend time with your family and not work, you dig? So I think it takes a while to really decompress, knowing that deadlines are coming up, all the kind of shit that's happening, you know what I'm saying, that we really need to focus in, that it's more about family than it's just that work is going to be there. You know what I'm saying? But shout out to Kendall because I know he's wearing a poncho in his house as well. So.
And Jen, how's your week been?
Okay, so I volunteered Thanksgiving. And so I volunteered to also cook all of the food. Because, most of the time a relative will say it and then it'll be a potluck. Well, my daughters and I, we're going to make all of the food for Thanksgiving. So just the idea of having to keep up with that and going shopping and making sure you have all the ingredients and, so I plan on prepping this week and then having the family over for Thanksgiving. I'm looking forward to it.
That's good. And I mean, this is the Thursday before Thanksgiving Thursday. We're kind of like the warm up for Thanksgiving too. You know what I mean? So in the spirit of that, let's wrap. So first thing we are going to rap about tonight is these live events that have been, they're kind of a big part of the new Netflix business model. You know what I mean? So last year, 2023, we had the Chris Rock live comedy special. First time they had ever done something like that. And for anyone that didn't necessarily check it out, probably the most memorable aspect of it is he does address the slap heard around the world. So that was a big thing. And then we had the recent Tyson Paul exhibition. I'm not going to call it a boxing match. I'm not going to offend real boxing fans by doing that. But there's also in January, WWE Raw is coming to Netflix. That's going to be the preferred way to watch. And then we also have 2 Christmas Day football games. And I had to double check this and make sure literally they're only on Netflix. I'm actually interested to see if that is true, because for my homies in this area that are Ravens fans, you would think that the Ravens fans, like, that game would be shown locally, but I don't know. So for y'all that did not catch the Tyson and Paul spectacle, whatever we're going to call it, there were some buffering lag issues, things like that. Everyone I've spoken to, because I did watch, but it was one of those things where it was on in the background while we had a card game going, and we would notice from time to, it's like, yo, this just, it's frozen. And I actually spoke to one of my homies who I play softball with, and she said that the fight, the main event started, and then because her stream had lagged so many times, they actually got the tweet alert for what the result was, because the fight was actually over. So everyone's experience seemed to be a little bit different, around this. But, with this new business model, how are y'all feeling about all of this? The Netflix doing all the live stream stuff, with the football games. A big aspect of it for the Christmas games is that Beyonce is going to be performing. at the halftime show of the Houston game, I believe. And the Beehive has actually been online, like being kind of loud, like, yo, Netflix, you better get your shit together, which is funny. Like, is it really going to take the Beehive to do this? But how are y'all feeling about this? What are your thoughts on Netflix and how things are going? E, get it started off. How are you feeling?
Well, we kind of already had a sample size of this. What was that? I think last year was the first year that they held a playoff game that was on Prime, right? And everybody was like, well, damn, the playoffs, you would think that that's local, like that should be just national televised because of the amount of people that are going to watch it. They actually lost viewers, but in the same sense, they realized that that's where they were trending to anyway, right? So I think ultimately this was, kind of already being, down the pipe. I mean, you look at if you look at the contracts that they have with these companies, right? You understand that the base model is always going to be cash rules everything around me, right? You got people that are subscribed to this shit more so than people that care to watch it or not. You realize they get access to it more so than they probably want to, right? So now you're literally bringing in football or sports to streaming services that had nothing to do with football, like had no sports related, right? We're not talking about Hulu, we're not talking about Prime, all of these ones that have live sports. Netflix has nothing to do with sports whatsoever. They had to get into the ring, and pun intended, that bullshit ass spectacle that it was. You can only imagine how long it is before UFC somehow finds a way to get a crazy lucrative deal that would have streaming services like strictly for somebody, because you realize the type of money that they can bring in. So it is what it is. I think it does kind of, it's trash because they also need to fix a lot of the issues that they got going on. The football games aren't going to have 60 million people trying to watch it. Let's just call that's what it was, right? So there's not going to be a buffering issue. However, if there is on football, I think there would be more of an uproar than that bullshit of a two old ass people fighting in the ring. So that's just me though. Jen, what you think?
I don't think Netflix, or let me say it like Mike Tyson, Netflix is prepared to do live streaming. Like, they should just hand it over, because obviously they don't have the infrastructure to do it. I mean, give it to HBO Max or YouTube. We stream on YouTube all the time. At least they can handle it. If you're not going to be able to handle it, then no. Because here's my thing. Like, if you did it on YouTube and YouTube messed up, that's one thing. But if I'm paying for a streaming service and it messes up on something I'm paying for, then no, I have an issue with that. And let me tell you something. When Beyonce comes on, you better not mess with the Beehive. And I'm part of the Beehive. And when we're in our meeting, when they tell me to dock somebody, I'm just going to have to do it.
That's all I'm saying. Like, there is absolutely every reason to be terrified right now if you are the NFL and Netflix, because if this goes wrong, again, we're talking, yes, in general, Christmas, sports-wise, usually reserved for the NBA. Like, if we're being honest about it, you know what I mean? But the NFL is king as far as sports go in the States. So this is still going to be a big deal. And like Jen said, if the Beyonce halftime show gets messed up here, dude, like, there might be executives that go missing. You know what I mean? So I don't know. Netflix, they've got what? It's a 3-year deal. I think the next 3 Christmases they're getting football. Obviously, the Raw deal, the WWE Raw deal is that's got a significant time frame to it. So they really got to get it figured out. And I would have thought Netflix would have had the bandwidth. I really would have thought Netflix as a company would have had the bandwidth, but they're hearing about it. So we will see if things end up changing. So, but Jen, you kind of, I mean, well, we'll save that one. Yeah. So Jen, you alluded to this. We've got Thanksgiving coming up, and everybody talks about the sides, and the sides they're very important. But today we're going to talk about the main portion, the protein, because I want to be clear. To me, the mac and cheese is a main. That can take center stage if the right person is making it. And yeah, there's plenty of times where a protein will actually run secondary to some good mac and cheese. Because in my opinion, there can be good mac and cheese that has protein in it. So you're good to go. But talking about, in general, the traditional birds that we might have. Are you guys, turkey people, ham people? I will say, and this is for the podcast in the world now. I will admit this to everyone. I did attend a Thanksgiving one year with the girl I was dating, her family, where we had one of those like turduckens. And that was interesting. I'm not even talking about the shoes. You know what I mean? Which people might see in a week's time or so. But yeah, what is y'all's thought on the protein? Are you guys traditional? Is it like turkey, over everything, turkey and ham? Do you guys go, kind of off the cuff? Is it a little bit different? You guys doing something like meatloaf? What are y'all thoughts? Jen, you got the prep coming up. Let me know what you're thinking.
Okay, so when I go to other people's houses for Thanksgiving, to be honest with you, I go for the sides. I go for that family member that I know is going to have all the traditional best sides. Mm-hmm. And for the main course, it's so funny we're talking about this. I literally called Popeyes today to see if they had those turkeys. Y'all, I called Popeyes. The turkeys are $72. Those Cajun roasted turkeys are $72. You have to give it 3 days to thaw and then, go ahead and pop it in the oven. So here's the thing. I'm going to buy a turkey. I was going to do a pot roast. My brother doesn't eat turkey, which means I'm going to have to go buy a rotisserie chicken anyway. So we'll see. But I'm not spending my time making that bird. So I always buy it. I'll make the sides and then I'll buy the birds. Because if something goes wrong with the bird, you can't blame me.
I feel that. As someone who actually lives with, or I don't live with them, but my baby sister and her fiance, they are culinary school graduates. You better believe I'm not touching anything in the kitchen. I'm buying the beer. I'm buying a bottle. I'm staying out of the kitchen from that standpoint.
I think I look forward to more so like the secondary protein, if you will, which is like the I think we do like a prime rib, or we might do I think one year, because it was hot as hell out here in Cali, shit, we grill, I'll grill some ribs. You know what I'm saying?
She was
like
half Asian and half white. Guess that.
That's what she was the reason why we got also the song too. I truly believe it. Anyway, outside of that, like I think this year, the parentals decided to do either like oxtails or something like that. I mean, listen, I think at that point it is what it is. But I can't leave this spot right now without saying this. I say it every year. Dressing is the weakest link as a fucking side dish on Thanksgiving. So I'll leave it at that, and we can continue on with the show.
If y'all are unfamiliar with E's take on the stuffing, the dressing, please check the WRSC podcast YouTube channel. Check the history.
E, come down south. We'll show you some good dressing.
Listen, I'm not saying that it's not good. I'm just saying, like, we had this conversation a while ago. Matter of fact, it was like 3 or 4 years ago at this point. We discussed side dishes, and there's certain side dishes that can stand by themselves. And I'm just like, unfortunately, I think dressing is the weakest link as a side dish by itself. It can't stand alone without you having to add something to it, whether it's gravy or you kind of put something else with it. You just not eating that shit by itself because you have to add something to it. It's just, to me, it's just the weakest dish. That's all.
I agree with that.
it's really no snub against dressing in itself. I'm just saying it's the weakest side dish on that whole plate.
I agree with that because I, to be honest with you, I don't think I've ever just gotten dressing and just sat there and ate it by itself.
You know
I
why?
always put it with turkey or something else.
Because that's a cry for help. That's letting people know. That's like if you're sitting down with just a bowl
A dressing,
of dressing by itself, that is the exact same thing as sitting down with 2 Popeyes biscuits and no water. You're telling people that I'm ready to end it right now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's sad.
That stuff is gonna suck all the moisture out of your body and not in the good way. You know what I mean? I know Ricardo's in the chat, so I don't gotta say pause. He'll say it for me. And on that note, damn, I really don't want to transition to this story after the way transitioned out of that one. But this is a bit more serious. In the area out this way, we had a situation where a young man ended up getting hung by his coat or his jacket in a bathroom stall in a I think it was a middle school in Waldorf, which is out here in Maryland. So it's one of those things where over the last couple of days, there's been a few different stories that have come out. And so we've heard that it could or could not be racially motivated. We'd heard that, hey, it was these kids just goofing off and messing around. And, there was actually no malice behind it. It's kind of seems like we don't know the whole truth yet. Elementary school, that's even crazier, bro. That's even crazier. Because, these are young kids. And I'm not saying that it's impossible. I'm just saying that it's like kind of improbable unless they're going to kind of demonstrate how someone accidentally gets hung up on that in that manner. But did you guys hear about this story? Because it's one of those things that I'm not actually sure all the time what hits national news out here. But did y'all hear about this? And, just in general, what are your thoughts? So, Jen, being out, in Texas, did you hear about this story?
I did. And, I get most of my news from YouTube now because I refuse to watch the national news because, So the last time I checked on the story, it looks like a 4th grader put a 2nd grader up on a hook in the bathroom. Now, I'm not sure if this hook is the like the actual stall, or if the hook was just somewhere in the bathroom. So it looks like the 2nd grader got caught up on the hook, and the 4th grader, which I believe they were roughhousing, and he probably put him up there, he panicked and ran and got the principal. So by the time the principal got there, the little 2nd grader was foaming at the mouth. And they had to call the ambulance, like he could have died because he was actually suffocating himself. So, when the parents heard about it, like they were putting the little boy in the ambulance. And so it's still pretty unclear of how did he end up on the hook? Why did the 2nd grader and the 4th grader have so much time in the bathroom for that to happen? So much time in the bathroom unsupervised.
Mm-hmm. E, what are your thoughts?
I mean, we've heard this stories like this before in the sense of roughhousing in the bathroom, of no supervision. Fuck it, I'll just say it. If anything, kids at this point now, kids are smarter. They're actually having fights in the bathroom because that's where there's no supervisors, right? They literally call it they literally have a scheduled time where they go and catch a fade in the bathroom and then it's done, right? So they at least try to say, we're going to hands it up and then we done. Now, again, we're talking about 2nd and 4th graders, which again should be supervised a lot closer in that sense. And again, it's just tragic because, this is going to alter both of their lives. You also can think about their parents. Whereas, if it is a bully, as Trina is saying, that's something that sticks with them, forever in regards to other schools that they go to, things of that nature. But also, the kid that was being picked on, you realize that this is probably something that's happened to him more often than not. You know what I mean? So again, listen, man, this is, we can cry, we can talk until we blue in the face or whatever, but this is a time for like where in any time now it's just like you really got to like love on your people and like check on everybody. You know what I'm saying? Because you don't know who's going through what. And it could be the simple fact that maybe that little boy told his parents that what was happening, but they just didn't, they didn't listen to it, or maybe the teachers didn't listen to it. And now this is like how far it's gotten. So, it really just becomes one of those things where, just you hope for better, but then we kind of already know what the school system's already putting up with when you got teachers that really don't give a fuck. So,
bruh, I can't speak to like everybody, you know what I mean? But when I was in second grade, like as an adult, I'm not tall. So you better believe when I was in second grade, I wasn't getting up on one of those hooks just by like jumping around. You know what I mean?
Right,
like it was so I was going to have to be like physically lifted up there, which like that Kevin Hart joke where, just pick me up, like that's kind of how it would have had to be. So I don't know. I like the fact that the kid ran out and actually got help. Yeah. I mean, not to say that, especially when you're that young, you're tough in one moment, and all of a sudden you're freaking out. Like that could have also been the case. Like I'm not ruling that aspect or possibility out. Like it totally could have been a bullying thing. And then my man was like, oh shit, like I'm actually like, this is bad. You know what I mean? Like, let me go get some help. So we'll see. What I had heard was that the parents were already saying he was not going to go. This kid was not going to go back to this school. You know what I mean? And they want more. They want more answers, which I feel, I'm not a parent as far as I know, but I have to imagine that every parent out there would want to know that their kid is supposed to be safe. You know what I mean? So they want to know that. And we talk about this in a whole bunch of other shows, so we'll save that. But you shouldn't feel like in danger going to school. But
see, CB, first off, find out if you're a parent. Second off,
they better find me.
When child support comes looking for you, you'll find out if you're a daddy or not. Okay, so
I'll check my taxes.
Here's the thing. Because of the way the mother wrote it when she put it on social media, it said like her son was hung in the bathroom at school. So it made it almost seem like it had a racial connotation to it, but it didn't. Like these were two African-American or two Black kids roughhousing in the bathroom. I guess what they need to find out is, does this second grader, does he have a history of being picked on? Because if that's the case, then yeah, I mean, I'm at that school every day. I'm at that school every day over my child.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good point though, Jen, because I thought about it, and unfortunately, with the way that certain things have happened recently, within the last, I guess, 8 years of with Cheeto Benito in the office, that I think a lot of people it has gotten to the point where we kind of rush to judgment about a lot of things without kind of going through and finding the information. Because what that can do is that can hurt a situation without, and we've seen what that happen on one side. I don't think they're ready for us to really see us pop off. You know what I'm saying? Because when it comes to children, then it becomes a totally different story. And it's like we're not even hearing nothing other than, like you said, the word hung and Black kids. And now we ready to, it's mobilized time. So
right.
I think we definitely have to make sure that we get all the information before we, kind of jump to conclusions. But like you said, ultimately, at the end of the day, these kids, the second grader definitely needs to, be evaluated as well as the fourth grader. This is going to change their life for sure going forward.
Yeah, because I know I have gone up to the school to confront a parent about a child messing with my child. So I can just imagine if my child ended up in the ambulance. Oh, yeah. We having whole conversations.
Yeah, I mean, I have to imagine this story it's not over. I'm sure that there will be some follow-up, but we're going to continue the conversation. We're going to do it by talking about the culture.
Oh, yay.
So, Jen, what you got for us this week?
Okay, so this week, actually earlier today on the culture, we talked about the fact that it is robin season. All right, let me tell you what happened to me within the last 2 weeks. In my neighborhood, someone had work equipment stolen out of a truck. My daughter's boyfriend had his wallet stolen or backpack stolen out of his truck that was sitting in front of my house. I mean, literally, they came by and it was so quick. Took one of those things, broke out the window, grabbed it, and left. Somebody stole. Let me get this up. Somebody stole the Lexus symbol off my car in my driveway. Now, my car is pretty vintage, okay? I drive. Here's the thing about my car. They stole that Lexus symbol. I drive a 2010. My car still has the original 6-disc CD player, okay? Don't hate on my car, baby, because I got a sunroof. But who steals that? I'm like, why? So y'all, I went on Amazon. I bought another one, but I am not putting it on until robin season is over. Okay, y'all. So robin season typically kicks off between October and February. Petty crime tends to pick up. This could include burglaries, robberies, and assaults. Now, a lot of times it kicks up because, people are trying to make ends meet for the holiday season and it is darker earlier outside. So I like to play a clip and I want to know, what would you guys do in that situation? And also, what do you guys do to stay safe or more vigilant during robin season?
Sheesh.
Okay, so I don't know where that happened, but just so everybody's on the same page, he basically stopped at a light. They did that touch his bumper, and then of course he got out and looked at it, and then he got. They jacked him, put him out on the sidewalk, and they drove off in his vehicle. So, what would you guys do in that situation, and what do you do to stay more vigilant during this time of the year?
Whew.
You got this one first, Evie?
Oh, I guess. I will say my behavior does change depending on where something like that would happen. Because not too long ago, this was January 2023. January, February, but definitely a victim of a road rage incident in the city out here where someone thought that we didn't let them merge. And so they made it a point to stop traffic by getting in front of our car and parking like just on the street, like while we're, supposed to be going and things like that. And like my friend, we're in an Uber, you know what I mean? We were actually at a friend's birthday party. And so my friend, because this happens twice, we get around them and then, they do the exact same thing, speed up, get in front of us, park the car. And my friend, she starts freaking out in the seat next to me. Like, I want to get out of the car. And I look at her and I'm like, that is the exact wrong thing to do right now. That's literally not what you do right now. And I'm going to tell my man who's driving the car, just turn this shit around, bro. We'll just go in the opposite direction. We're driving, man. We can find another like route to get out there. Like it's not that serious. These people clearly do not care about their life. And I care about mine. So we're not sticking around. Like we're not getting out of the car. That's for damn sure. And this kind of thing, this situation, obviously a bit different because this would be, me actually driving my vehicle. But I would like to think every time I've ever been in a car accident, I have surveyed my surroundings, kind of taken in, what's going on, because I have consumed enough media and known enough things to happen that, like, I'm not, I'm always kind of sketched out by all of this stuff. I'm never thinking this is actually all, like, I'm gonna say it, same shit if I'm getting pulled over, bro. Like, I'm not taking it for just face value. Like, that's the same thing with something like this. So it's basically, Jen, like, I'm not gonna just go about my business, if that makes sense. Like, I'm gonna actually try to be vigilant. And like we were talking pre-show, I live in an area where in all likelihood, I'm not, like, I'm not gonna have something on me. So it's like, you got to be safe. You got to be safe out there and play it safe.
Well, Jen, I'm actually in security. I've been in security for sheesh. We won't say a date or a year, but I've been in it for long enough.
Yeah, don't
anytime,
do that.
Yeah, we're not gonna do that. But listen, it's funny you brought this up for the culture, because actually, me being in security, it's one thing that I actually send out to all of my offices that I work for. I actually give them a quick little, hey, as soon as the clocks change and it gets darker earlier, there's certain things that you have to understand, which is being vigilant when you walk to and from, the metro station and things of that nature. It just, again, they out there, like you said, it's robbing season. They looking to get a couple of extra dollars. You never get out of the car, when somebody bumps your shit. You know what I'm saying? You always go to a well-lit situation, if that's the case. But even with that being said, you know what I mean? You have to understand your notion. Oh, okay. Kendall on one today. I got one. I got her. It's been a while. It's because me and Kendall haven't talked in a minute. I understand why I'm getting all of this right now. I see it. But anyway, but no, like, I take this shit serious, because again, I got a mom, I got a pops, I got sisters. You know what I'm saying? And it ain't gonna be a nice day if anybody decides to to test one of them. But I make sure that they understand, and know what to do in certain situations. Somebody actually tried my pops, and he knew exactly what to do, not to stop, because they was honking and all that shit and trying to get him to pull over. And he actually had some family members in the whip with him. And, he did right, and he didn't stop. He went to where he needed to go to, location wise, make a quick little phone call. And I guarantee you, once they saw where he was getting off at, they realized that, it was probably a good idea to turn around. So, but you gotta be vigilant. You know what I'm saying? You can't be out here thinking that shit don't happen, that you can't get knocked upside your head, even in public locations, whether it's the metro, whether it's, going to and from work. They don't care. Broad daylight, any daylight, dark time. But you also have to be smart enough to realize that you can't give them the opportunity for the shit. Jen, I know you said there was stuff in the car or whatever like that. Like, they're definitely looking through cars. They've already canvassed the location. They understand that some people stay at home, some people don't. Out here, unfortunately, pulling kick those and just kind of entering people's houses has been a thing since I was a kid. So they don't, they really watch people's houses. So you know what I'm saying? Like, you can't be on a schedule to the point where they know what you do. So you just got to be mindful about your situation if you want to stay around here. Keep your head on the swivel.
Everything you said was correct. And also, guys, in that particular situation, I was stressing to them on the culture today that in some situations, there is nothing you can do. Like, he did the right thing. He was in a lit area. He had the cameras on him. They still chose to take him. And here's the thing, whether he had a weapon or not, he didn't have enough bullets to be able to take all of them. You know what I mean? So sometimes you just got to be able to go home to your family. You know what I mean? It's a car. Hopefully he can get it back. And so this time of the year, everybody, just stay safe. Don't always have your nicest things out when you really don't know where you are or you don't know who's around. Like, That's why I'm gonna keep driving this 2010 because it's vintage. Like, who wants my vintage car? And I'm not putting that emblem back on there until Robin season is over with. So I'm like, I don't look like I'm not going around here looking like I have something you want to take. So when you're out here in these streets at night, think about who's around you and how to keep yourself safe in all of your surroundings.
Yes. Thank you, Jen. And it's one of those situations where we know it's the holiday season. People are trying to either pad the pockets or, make things a little bit easier. We're going to make things a little bit easier for you too for the holidays because D-Cup Customs, you can use our code WRC15. You can get a discount on your first purchase. So I think we got a video.
D-Cup Customs, where you can get a horror-themed tumbler with Pennywise and Freddy Krueger and other licensed characters that I probably shouldn't be mentioning in public. You can have Beetlejuice. He's hot in these streets right now. We have a scary Hello Kitty. We have football team tumblers, football team shot glasses. We have Mickey Mouse cups, and you can get a matching Mickey Mouse pen, either regular or the racist Mickey. We have a cup with the shoe that's popular with the Rhythmics. The cup is actually red on the bottom too. Look at my boy Yoda and the matching pen. Clever it is. We can also create almost anything you want. Let your imagination run wild. Look at this one. You can see what was the inspiration for this. You know you want one. Get at us, dog.
Boom. DCupCustoms.com, WRC15, save 15%. And I'll believe it when I see it, Dimitri. I'll believe it when I see it. But in the meantime, everyone grab you your racist Mickey pen for for Christmas. And if that doesn't piss people off, this next segment is what you got for us, bro?
Well, I have to listen. We kind of already got the Thanksgiving thing out the way, so I don't have to piss anybody else off with that. But I will go ahead and piss off probably a few people, and I don't care when I do, and I'm gonna do it anyway. But I just have to really be honest with the people in the masses that just because some shit is like viral or it gets like a name and somehow it goes around that it's considered like good, or the fact that it's like it can run the show. This week's Is It Just E is I'm just cutting straight to the point. Crumble cookie is fucking trash. It is like they clearly don't care about how. They don't care about anything, to be honest with you, right? I think that the cookies that they make are trash. I think that they don't even care that. I think they know that their shit is trash, and they know that they're just selling it because it has their name, Crumble Cookies, and motherfuckers are, going there because of the name. They're doing something as far as like they're reviewing all the cookies. And here's the crazy part. You guys can, I swear it, just be honest with yourselves. Jen, I know you're gonna help me out on this one. 9 times out of 10, the people who are online reviewing Crumble cookies have officially said that they shit is trash. It's either the cookie's not cooked right, the shit is dry, the shit crumbles like dirt. I don't understand who the fuck made Crumble cookies to the point where they have that big of a following that people really think that this is a good ass cookie. Like, this shit is trash. You know what I'm saying? Give me the old Nestle shits that you can get in the damn store and put them shits in the oven. You know what I'm saying? Get you the 12 or the 24 piece joints and just be done with it. Like I really have a problem with this. And listen, matter of fact, Crumble Cookie can't hold a fucking light to grandma's cookies. And as old as them hoes are, and where you can still get them hoes at any store, and they will still be A1 from day one. Crumble Cookies is trash. I don't care how decorative they try to get or whatever the case may be. Them shits is horrible. But I don't think a lot of people are disagreeing with me because it's a horrible ass cookie. Jen, what do you think?
I think that I like the fact that you still eat gas station cookies. Those grandma cookies you can find at any gas station or any convenience store. And listen, the crumble cookies is like just asking for diabetes. Like they're sweet for no reason. And here's the one reason why I don't like crumble cookies and why I'm with you eat and why I'm with you most of the time on is just eat. It reminds me of California Pizza Kitchen. Just put some brown sugar and some flour and some eggs and some chocolate chips together. That's all we need. It's like California Pizza Kitchen. I don't need Thanksgiving dinner on a pizza. I don't need all of this stuff on a cookie. Like these cookies are big, they're fat, and they're hurting my teeth. And y'all, I've only tasted crumble cookies because my kids would do the reviews like in the kitchen in private. But can't do it. Cannot do it. Yeah, I will eat one bite of each cookie just to try it. I can already feel my insulin just going up.
I'm gonna say that the Beatus, they've just been out here winning. Crumble cookie, and this honestly just leads in perfectly because it's like a fucking deep dish pizza in cookie form. Like you're out here. I don't want desserts generally that are supposed to be just for Chris, that I gotta actually share them with people. And Jen, you already said it. Like you're cutting up parts of the crumble cookie. Here's what I'll say. I am not generally the one that goes to Crumble Cookie to buy the cookies. But if someone shows up to my house with crumble cookies, I'm gonna eat them. Like it's one of those things where you brought it over. I'm not boycotting. You know what I mean? I'm still gonna eat it. And what I would prefer though is deep dish pizza from my guy Grant. Another sponsor. We got two sponsors, guys. WRSC. We're doing some big shit out here, man. So shout out to the boy Grant, DC Shy Pie, Chicago Deep Dish Pizza here in the DC area. We got all these different styles of pizza. They got the flats, they got the drop the bomb bear pudding. And if you use our code WRSC10, you can get 10% off of your order. Let's talk shoes. What I will say is that until we find Kaleo, we should take all of the video images that have him in it. We should just remove those. It should just be me and E-Rich partying out here with Jen, Trina, and Sammy. You know what I mean? So that's all I'm going to say. But for Copper Chop this week, bro, that's what the laundromat is for. Anyways, the follow-up to the SB, the fours, right? That was the fours last year. We basically been waiting for the next SB like follow up, right? The real collab. And next year, 2025, we're getting a Air Max 95 SB collab. So, people should realize that Nike and the Nike SB imprint technically, separate. So, are you guys excited about this? I still am waiting for my pair of the Force. So I still do not have those in the collection yet. And I'll be honest, I do love the 95. So I'm excited about this. But if you guys had an opportunity to cop or chop these, I do not know a price point yet, but for the sake of the exercise and the price being the price, let's just say it's $200. $200 for a Nike SB Air Max 95. How are you feeling about that? Is that too much? Is there a price that would make it worth it? Or are you just chopping them all together? Jen, I know you're not a sneaker person necessarily, but how do you feel about these?
I drive a vintage car and I wear vintage shoes. So $200, probably not. But I do like that shoe. I would cop that shoe if I were a sneakerhead. CB, am I wrong? Does it kind of look like a golf shoe to you?
They do have 95 golf shoes out there. They do exist. So
Okay.
yeah.
I like that shoe. I would cop that shoe.
Yeah. I'm sure that because these are, I think, just mocks, but I have to assume not too far off. So E, how you feeling?
Not for two bands. No, not that. And if this is the mock-up, I think there's they got some more creativity that they can get with this. This is just kind of outside of the sole, bottom of the shoe. You know what I mean? There's nothing that's really detailing this shoe to be anything other than that. And like I got for $200, the threes is definitely worth that.
Yeah. I mean, right, what would the price point be then for those to actually work for you? Because 95s, I haven't bought a pair in a minute, but I want to say they're like around like $180 for off retail, right? Like between 160, 180.
Probably, I think they're 180. But again, you're talking about if we get the OG colorway, right? The neon color,
the neon.
For sure you're paying one. Now, SB Dunk with the OG neon color, then we're talking something different. But you're kind of going into a situation where you're missing the mark creativity, which we've talked about before, hashtag free soul tales, that there's no creativity to that shoe other than it's a 95, right? So the silhouette itself is going to sell, but you haven't done anything that's going to make me be like, they actually put some real thought into where this collaboration would go. The SB4s last year, everything about that shoe in a sense was like, not much creativity because the shoe works for itself, but they did just enough to make it work and do what it's supposed to do. This right here, this is a full-on miss for sure.
CB, I know you said like $100, $200, $180. So I shop in the kids section. How much would that shoe be for me?
It would be cheaper. It definitely would be cheaper. So Jen, you actually have the cheat code. It's actually working against me. All the little people in my life that I buy stuff for, they're just getting older and their feet are getting bigger. It's messed up. Like all my nieces and nephews, man. Because you better believe we're getting sneakers for Christmas. Sneaker claws. So let's let's show some shoes and get out of here. And I can start us off because here's the thing. All the babies, they don't know what I'm going to be talking about right here, but because I can show off, all of us are getting these for Christmas. I already got mine. Everyone's getting these for Christmas because they're coming in family sizing. So the black cement threes, they've early dropped a couple of times. So some other homies may already have them, but yeah, I'm waiting for the big drop because Remy and Sage and my other nephew that is on the way, who could be here in the next 2 weeks at any moment, they all need a pair, man. So we can just be stunting Christmas morning, all rocking. And Cardo's right. We need a free Soul Tales. We need a Soul Tales episode pronto before we get to the end of the year. So E, what you got for us?
I'm actually going to show a shoe that I've just now worn for the first time last week that I've had in the collection for a minute. Again, I just have not worn it. I actually wore it with the Iverson shirt with the Slam magazine on the front. So again, wear your shirts. Listen, man, you know what? We used to pair shoes, and they used to have a good, display, whether or not, on the shoes. And in the different areas where you went to, you would tell like who would work there because of the type of shoe that they would put on there. But so I wore these. And I'm putting the good juju out there because I've done this all through the years. I always try to put the good juju out there. The 11s are coming out. And so because I got the lows, I definitely got to get the OGs when they come out. So this is for me and the good juju of the 11. I haven't even wore these just because they're lows. I bought them just because for nostalgia purpose, even though they weren't the originals, but I bought them because I wanted the pair. And now that the OGs is coming out, I got to get a pair because you know what? If you don't wear it with your North Carolina, MJ jersey, you out here looking real suspect. That's all I'm going to say.
I mean, it's true. And we know holiday season, it's for the 11s, man. So another episode under an hour. Each episode without Kaleo, we are actually, we're basically on fire. So, thank you to everybody in the chat. Didn't get to mention everybody, but we saw B in there, Cardo, Risa, Kendall, Gerardo, all the homies, man. Dave J,
Hit that like button.
Man, really appreciate y'all all the time, just showing up, showing out for us. And so y'all know, end of the year we got coming up. It's our favorite time of the year, our 2 favorite shows, our top 5 shows. So we're going to have our top 5 sneakers of the year, our top 5 albums of the year. And like I was saying, we need to have a Soul Tales episode actually in between there somewhere. We're going to make that happen. So just know that we've got a lot more on the way. And part of that has to do with the fact that you can find us on Gen X TV, guys. We are literally out there right now. So please on your Fire Stick, your Roku, download the Gen X TV app. You can hit up your boys. We are on there. You can see some of the old shows, some clips. And we're having a great time. We're loving the partnership, and we really feel that we're going to end 2024 strongly, and 2025 is going to be just that much better, man. So Jen, any last words for the people? Thank you so much, as always, for hitting us with the culture. No,
my last words for you guys, stay safe.
Love that. E, what you got for the people, bro?
Shout out to Kendall, who's having a buy one, get one pig feet sale out of his house currently while he's doing the radio show. Again, you can buy a poncho, some tube socks, and you know what I'm saying, a get out of jail free card at Kendall's house. Everybody shout out to Kendall and reach out to him when you get a chance. And I think he's also selling beans and franks next week. So, you know what I mean? Kendall's out here doing it, getting it together.
Shout out to Kendall, entrepreneur. Also, everybody, 12 Eastern tomorrow. That would be 9 a.m. Pacific. The homie Trish, she's got her birthday party on Station Head. And I just want to put this out there. We got some of the dopest fucking music for our our lead-ins, some of that stuff. So awesome. We might as well end on that, man. We love y'all. Happy Thursday. We are something else. Bro, episode 212, holiday. Thank y'all for joining us. We'll catch y'all next week.
Past, but then jumping to the bag, ain't coming, ain't.
Peace.